Welcome back to the Shirley You Can Too podcast. I'm Shirley, your host. Thank you so much for being here. Someone else's experience can be information. It does not have to become mine or yours. Let me ask you something because I've been thinking about this a lot. Have you ever been told or heard things like, my friend did that and it was horrible. Don't do that. You're going to regret it. That's dangerous. That didn't work for me. Or something I've heard a million times. I've heard root canals or extracting your wisdom teeth hurts, right? It's the worst thing ever. I remind people that they are not you and you are not them. Their pain tolerance might be totally different than yours. Sometimes those stories can be valuable. Sometimes they're warnings we absolutely should listen to. But sometimes we take somebody else's experience and turn it into our own limitation. And if I had to live my life that way, honestly, I would probably be sitting at home most of my life, safe, comfortable, and wondering, what if? Today, we're talking about something I call fuck around and find out. And before anyone gets nervous, I'm not talking about being reckless. I'm not talking about ignoring good advice. I'm not talking about putting yourself in danger so you can say you tried something. I'm talking about something much deeper. I'm talking about having the courage to have your own experience. Because I've spent 35 years working with people in health, fitness, dental, coaching, mentoring, and underneath every single one of those things, I've been doing the same thing, helping people move through fear, helping people feel safe, helping people get stronger, helping people heal, helping people change. And one thing I've learned is that people can become incredibly good at living according to somebody else's story. It's like borrowed fear. Think about it. Maybe you wanted to start a business. Someone said, that's really hard. So you didn't. Maybe you wanted to leave a relationship. Someone said, it's too hard to find someone new. So just stay. So you stayed. Maybe you wanted to travel somewhere. Someone told you, I went there and hated it. Or someone said it wasn't safe because they heard it on the news. So, of course, you never went. Maybe you wanted to try something completely outside your comfort zone. And somebody said, people like us don't do that. And you believe them because we're human. We learn from other people, which can be a beautiful thing. We don't have to make every mistake ourselves. But there's a difference between learning from somebody's experience and surrendering your life to somebody else's experience. Those are not the same thing. And this is where I have to tell you, if I listened to everybody who had an opinion about what I should or shouldn't do, I wouldn't be me. Because I've worked in the fitness, dental, and coaching industry, I've been fortunate to come across all walks of life. Different demographics. I've watched people evolve and transform. Helping people and being of service is what I do best. Think of one thing you've done in your life that people questioned. Is it because they tried it and learned something valuable, or is it because they tried it and it didn't work for them? Because those are very different things. Someone else's failure does not automatically predict your failure. Somebody else's trauma does not automatically become your trauma. Somebody else's limitations do not automatically become your limitations. And somebody else's definition of success does not have to be yours. You can listen, you can learn, you can take precautions, you can gather information, and then you get to choose. I tell people, take what lands, take what resonates, feel free to do your research, and stay open and curious. But what about when the warning is valid? Now, here's what I want to be really clear. Fuck around and find out does not mean do whatever the hell you want. There are consequences in life. There are things we should research. There are things we should prepare for when there are situations where somebody else's experience can save you enormous pain. Wisdom matters. Safety matters. Discernment matters. So I'm not encouraging recklessness. No. I'm encouraging curiosity. There's a difference. Instead of automatically saying, I can't do that, Start asking, is that actually true for me? Instead of, someone told me that doesn't work. Ask yourself, what can I learn from their experience? And what do I still need to discover for myself? That's a very different way to live. My fuck around and find out questions. So here's the little framework I want to give you. The next time you find yourself saying, I can't, stop and ask. Number one, is this actually my experience, or did someone else give me this belief? Number two, what am I afraid will happen? Don't skip this one, because sometimes the thing we're avoiding isn't that thing we're actually afraid of. We're afraid of failing, or afraid of being judged, or afraid of looking stupid, or afraid of disappointing someone. We're afraid of succeeding. Yes, sometimes we are afraid of that, believe it or not. Number three, and ask yourself, what do I actually know? Separate facts from stories. What do I know? What have I heard? What am I assuming? Number four, what would I discover if I tried? Not will this work, but what might I learn? That question changes everything, because now there doesn't have to be a perfect outcome. There can simply be an experience. And number five, what's the cost of finding out? This is the grown-up question. Sometimes the cost is small. Try the class, take the trip, start the conversation, learn something new. Sometimes the cost is much bigger, and that's when we need more information, preparation, support, and discernment. Fuck around and find out does not mean don't think. It means think, feel, research, prepare, and then when it feels right, take action and go. After 35 years of working with people, I've seen something over and over again. People are capable of so much more than they think they are, but sometimes they have spent years collecting evidence for why they can't. I've always been this way. My mother was like this. I'm too old. That's a good one. I'm too young. I don't have enough money. I don't know how. I tried once and it didn't work. Someone told me I couldn't or shouldn't. And eventually the story becomes their identity. That's the part that breaks my heart, because sometimes the person doesn't need somebody to tell them what to do. They need somebody to sit beside them and say, what if you gave yourself permission to find out? That's what I love about the work I do. Whether I'm standing in front of a fitness class, sitting beside a dental patient, coaching someone, or holding space for someone through a transformational experience, I'm still asking the basic question, what's possible for you? And I'm still asking myself that question. I'm not sitting here pretending I have it all figured out, because I don't. I'm still learning. I'm still changing. I'm still becoming. And maybe that's the point. Maybe we don't ever arrive at some magical place where we know everything. Maybe life is about staying curious enough and brave enough to keep finding out. The big question I'm going to leave you with is, what have you decided not to do because of somebody else's experience? Think about it. Not what you tried and didn't like, not something you researched and decided wasn't for you. No. I'm talking about something you've already ruled out without ever having your own experience. What is it? And then ask yourself, what am I actually afraid of? What do I actually know? What would I need to learn? Who would I need to become? And what might happen if I gave myself permission to find out? I've spent 35 years helping people, and the more people I work with, the more I realize that transformation isn't always about becoming somebody new. Sometimes it's about becoming brave enough to discover who you already are. Sometimes it's about letting go of stories you've inherited. Sometimes it's about realizing that that was their story. It doesn't have to be yours. So listen to people, learn from people, respect experience, be smart, be safe, use discernment, but don't let somebody else's fear become the blueprint for your life, because you only get one life. And I don't want you to spend it sitting at home wondering what what might have happened because somebody else told you not to. I want you to fung around and find out. And then, please tell me what you discovered. And remember, if Shirley can do it, surely you can too. Thank you so much for being here. And please do me a huge favor if you haven't already, like and subscribe. I will see you on the next episode.